So here in Matthew 20, we encounter the mother of two of Jesus' apostles, nearest disciples, coming to approach Jesus and with a request, and she wants her sons to sit at his right and left when he enters his glory and in his kingdom, actually. And of course, she understands the kingdom as being earthly in Jerusalem, earthly power, prestige, glory. Certainly loves all that Jesus does and all that he's been teaching, but has a pretty big misunderstanding about the kingdom. And it's funny because the mom approaches these two. Now, John was pretty young, probably 12-ish. James is under 20 as well, and these guys are still apparently mama's boys, having their mom run their errands. Maybe she did this without him knowing. Moms can do those things as well. But the other disciples find out about this, and they're very indignant. They're angry that these guys would be posturing for those positions, or that their mom would do such a thing. You know, they've been together a couple years now, and it just seems they should all have equal positions of glory when they enter Jerusalem. And of course, these glory positions to Christ's right and left would be on crosses to his right and left. And she doesn't even know what she's asking, Jesus says. And we read the end of the passage, and Jesus is reframing their expectations about what it means to be, in the kingdom, and what kind of kingdom this is to be, what kind of, kings or we are to be, and we're actually to be servants. And he says, the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. It shall not be so among you, but whoever would be great among you must be your servant. And whoever would be first among you must be your slave. For even as the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. And it's a beautiful passage because number one, we know that we should serve. We know that we should love. We know that we should give. We see Jesus here is telling us not to lord it over others and to be constantly telling people what's what. Paul said that in Corinthians that not that we lord it over your faith, but we're fellow workers for your joy. And those are the kind of under shepherds that Jesus wants. Those are the kind of Christians that we're called to be. And the thing about it is we know that. We already know that. We don't necessarily need to look at this verse, maybe to be reminded of it. We do from time to time. But I think what we can miss is that we just think that we should serve, and we think that we should give, and that we think that we should just love because it's the Christian thing to do. But what we miss is the one who has served and given his life as a ransom for many, Christ, wants to empower us to do those things. Not just that we do them because the Bible, this verse says we should do them, but that Christ actually wants to live his life in and through us and empower us and strengthen us to serve and to give and to love in that capacity, not our capacity, but a Holy Spirit wrought enabled capacity. That truly honors God and blesses others, whether they see it or not. Serving with the strength that God provides is what we're called to do. Peter says, if anyone serves, just serve. No, let him serve with the strength that God provides. You can read that, I think, in 1 Peter 4. And the strength that God provides is found, of course, by the Spirit, according to the commands of God, and based on the promises of God. And the reality is we know we should do these things, but we can often white-knuckle it or just kind of grit our teeth and do them without communing with God and drawing our strength from God and really taking joy in the one who served us and given his life up for us and even desires to live his life in and through us for his glory. So that's my charge, really, as you love your kids, your spouses, as you love yourself properly, as you try to love others in your home or at work or in the church when we gather again. Do so with the strength that God provides. Be blessed.